In this episode, I award Luffy the badge of equality. He'll punch you, he'll punch your sister, he'll punch anyone.
Welcome to the journey. Welcome to the crew. We think we're pretty funny, and we hope that you will too. This is the opening song to season 2. It's where the journey really starts because we've made it out of East Blue. We've got our snacks and we've got our friends. Now it's time to discuss the anime that never ends. Yeah! Start the show!
Hello, fellow adventurers of the Grand Line. Welcome to episode 39 of King of the What Now? We're a podcast that discusses One Piece. The anime mostly, but sometimes the manga. And I'm Joel, your captain, your longtime fan, and also I'm a duck that had been wandering through the desert for a long time and is now greedily guzzling water. With me, as always, is Curtis, and Curtis, who are you?
Well, I am Curtis, the bartender, but I'm also secretly Mr. Number. That's my code name. I don't want anybody to know that I am Curtis.
Absolutely.
And I'm also I'm not a no newbie anymore. I'm a
One Piece novice.
A One Piece novice. Yeah. I'm a One Piece novice.
Try that title out in your mouth, like swirl the syllables around and let its power fill you. Let you. Once you get to novice, you actually get to choose one of 3 weapon proficiencies.
Oh,
yeah, you get the banana staff. Or the coconut gun. That's a very popular gun. It can kill your enemies in spurts, and if you shoot anyone else, it's gonna hurt. And then you can also get the thesis paper. You can whack people with it.
That's an interesting choice of weaponry here. Yeah.
You have as much time as you need to choose a proficiency, and while you're considering that, we're also joined by our third co-host.
Ooh, spooky ghost. I am Kat, and I'm a hungry banana gator.
Absolutely. Now, at the top of the hour, before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast, I stole that from Nuxtaku. I mean, people say that, but he says that a lot, and I got it from him. Go check out Nuxtaku on YouTube. He does anime videos. Okay, before we get into the episode descriptions and the discussion, we have recently changed our audio equipment. We hope that it sounds better, but I noticed while editing 38 and 37 that it was a different sound, so we hope that you can bear with us, but we hope that the quality is improving. As always, reach out to us on any social media platform that we exist on in order to tell us whether you liked it or not.
I finally have my own mic. It's almost like I'm a real member of this podcast.
Absolutely. Okay, so what we just finished watching were episodes 102, 103, 104, and 105 of the One Piece anime. That's the Alabasta arc. If you're watching along at home, we have reached Rainbase, and the agents have met at the Spider Cafe, and it looks like we're finally moving into the final phase of Project Utopia, or Plan Utopia, or whatever it's called.
The final 30 episodes.
Well, some of that's like the wrap-up, like after the good guys or the bad guys or someone is defeated.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say, we're moving into the final phase of part 1, and that was really funny to me.
I see. Now, Curtis, would you like to give us some more of those fancy deets? And when I say fancy, I mean juicy.
Okay.
Fancy deets doesn't make any sense, but juicy deets, like you just want to like lap it up.
Yeah, okay, Joel, lap this up, all right? So we got our Straw Hat crew. They're wandering through the desert and they get separated per usual.
Yep.
We've got Zoro and Chopper and Luffy. They're together. They're falling into caves. They're getting out of the caves, and there's a brief like talking, and then they finally find everybody else. Everybody else gets to some ruins, they rest, and they keep, hiking along, and then they're all back together again.
Uh-huh.
That's that episode. It was exciting.
That was the very first episode.
Yeah. What was... Okay, wait. Let me remember.
The next one, can I give you the episode title?
I think I remember what it was, but go ahead.
At Spider's Cafe, the enemy ringleaders meet at 8 o'clock.
Wait, that was that one?
Yes.
Did we not go to Yuba first?
That is Yuba. They arrive at Yuba, but the main focus of that episode was the numbered agents.
Okay, yeah. So our heroes get to Yuba, and
Something's not quite right with Yuba. It doesn't look like how you remembered it.
yeah, no, it's deserted. There's no water. So they stay there, and then we also see members of the Brooks Works, like the highest ranking agents, all gather at this cafe. So we finally met Mr. One.
Yes.
We met Miss Doublefinger, which I'm going to ask you more about later. We had Mr. Two and Miss Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Who is very irritating.
Yes. She's the stereotype of ADD played up to 11.
Like, well, yeah, I would say more like spoiled child.
Okay. Well, I was just talking about like how fast she talks, maybe ADHD. But she'll get halfway through a sentence and she'll repeat the last word a couple of times, but each time she makes it shorter. That's what she does in the Japanese version. In the English, she just repeats herself.
And then we also have Mr. Four, who does not have a partner.
Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas are partners.
Wait. Oh, Mr. Two is the dancing guy.
Yes.
Mr. Four is... that's right. Okay. I'm sorry. That makes sense, because I was like, Mr. Two's the... Okay, never mind. I'm good now. Mr. Two is on his own. Mr. Four, Miss Merry Christmas. And then in the background, we see Mr. Three looking through the window, but not talking to anybody.
Being a creeper.
Yep. And they meet, and then they all head to meet their boss in... Rain Base?
Rain Base, yep.
I was going to say Water Base for some reason. In Rain Base. And I think we flash back.
Hey, Curtis, you are aware that rain is made of water. That might be where your brain makes the connection.
Joel, is that one of the shapes of water?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Along with triangles and trapezoids.
And love.
That's a lovely shape of water. Yes, and then we flash back to the Straw Hat crew. They've slept in Yuba. There was an old man there who is the father of the now leader of the rebels, who is Vivi's childhood friend.
Who also has a name.
Whose name...
You can do it.
Whose name...
It's only 4 letters.
Ends in old man in Japanese.
No. Koza is Vivi's childhood friend.
Yeah, no, but you told me that he had an honorific that meant, like, old man.
No. Koza is the son of the old man.
Well, yeah.
And, okay, so Vivi
I thought you wanted me to get the old man's name.
No, I don't know the old man's name.
What? Oh, I could have gotten Koza.
Well, I was asking you about it, and you're like, well, I don't know.
No, you were asking me. We're talking about the old man. Okay, anyways, there's an old man. He's Koza's dad. I don't remember the old man's name. He is only vaguely important insofar as he gets them a little bit of water.
You take that back.
Okay, he's important, but like in the larger scheme of things, he's like, maybe like a minor character.
He gave Luffy the water.
The water that he
inspired Luffy to punch.
We're going to go into this. This isn't part of the summary. This is part of the deeper hidden message.
Okay.
So anyways, now they're back out in the desert. They're going through the desert, and Luffy and Vivi get into a fight for a while, and then they're not fighting.
They both want to ask the same boy to prom, obviously.
Yeah, they both. It was the duck.
Yes, Karoo.
Karoo, yeah, Karoo. They both wanted to ask Karoo to the dance. And
we should have been able to remember Koza's dad's name. I just wikied it. It's Toto, like the dog from
Toto,
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, wait.
Yeah,
what?
Okay, so you finally caught on. I used the wrong name on purpose because I couldn't remember Wizard of Oz for some reason. We are getting distracted.
Yes, we are. They get to the desert. They decide... So originally they were going to go try to find the rebel army, which was no longer in Yuba. It had moved to...
Oh, no.
I was going to say Korea, but that's a place...
No, Kateria.
Kateria. See, okay, it's close to Korea, which is a real country. Kateria, but then they say no, we're gonna go beat up Crocodile instead. He's at Rain Base, so they're going to Rain Base now too. And then we also see the rebels. They're gonna launch their final attack on Alubarna.
Yes.
And then we go to Alubarna, and we see the king, and he got Vivi's note about who the mastermind is, Crocodile. And he says, you know what? We're not gonna fight the rebels. They're our own people. We're gonna go fight Crocodile. We're taking the whole army to Rain Base. So now we've got the numbered agents, the Straw Hats, and the king all heading towards Rain Base.
And someone else who's already in Rain Base.
Crocodile.
And
Well, in the number. Oh, and Smoker.
Smoker's there as well.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay. So the numbered agents get there. They meet Crocodile, find out he's number 0, Mr. Zero, which they didn't know before. They knew who Crocodile was. They just didn't realize they were the same person. Mr. 3 shows up and asks for forgiveness for failing. And then that's when Crocodile realizes that the Straw Hats and Vivi aren't actually dead and that he's been tricked. He's very upset with Mr. 3 for failing him. So he drives him out and then he feeds him to his banana alligator.
Banana Gator. Okay,
Banana Gator. What did I say before? It was a crocana. No, crocodana.
All right. I love this bit that you're doing. Let's discuss animal anatomy in a second.
Anatomy, okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting
etymology?
Yeah.
Entomology. Etymology.
That's it.
Okay. So they're in Rain Base.
Yes.
It's all gonna go down.
Yes.
And, chaos ensues, really. There's not much to describe about what happens in Rain Base.
Yeah, they get there. The Straw Hats get there now.
And they keep such a wonderfully low profile.
Yes, a wonderfully low profile where Luffy and Usopp go into a bar and sit down at the bar right next to Smoker and Tashigi. Did I get the name right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, she's Kawina. Tashigi is the guy who raised Sanji at the Bratier.
Get out of here.
You can't do
All right, I don't know. Yeah,
about your own favorite show.
What?
You only do that about things other people like.
No, I do that about everything. So here's the thing. I realize that Curtis relies on me to fill in the gaps. He'll go, and then they're walking to the forest with, and if I can just give him names that sound like they're from One Piece, he won't know the difference. And then the giant Broggy was fighting Carrot, Onion, and Pepper, who, as we know, is the other giant on Alabasta.
Screwing with Curtis, you say?
Actually, if you did Carrot, Onion, and Pepper, wait, no, those are the actual boys, right?
What?
No, yeah, the little boys are actually Carrot, Onion, and Pepper. Okay. I thought you changed one of the vegetables, and I realized, no, they're
Carrot,
not.
Onion, and Avocado.
Avocado's not a vegetable.
Curtis! For the love of God!
Not a food podcast.
So they sit down next to Smoker and Shiki.
And then spit on them.
Yeah, spit. They do a spit take. It's not like, we hate you. That was the sound of me spitting without spitting.
I thought it was the sound of a snake, like, sass at you, like, whipping its tail, like a sassy snake. I don't need you in my life anymore, Alfred.
No, so they're drinking a bunch of water, they turn, and they're like, oh, and then they spit water at them, and then they run away. At this point, the Straw Hats are running away from the Marines, and they split up, and they kind of get back together, but not everybody. I think we have reunited. We have Luffy and Nami and Zoro and Sanji.
Usopp. I don't know if Sanji is there.
Was it Usopp though?
Usopp and Nami were together.
Oh yeah, Usopp, Nami, Zoro, and Luffy. That's it.
And Vivi, I think.
No, Vivi is gone because Zoro came and
that's right.
Isn't Vivi here?
Where is she? And we also have Smoker hot on Luffy's tail.
Oh, yeah,
So they all split up. We could have talked about this later, or we could talk about it now.
Let's talk about it now.
Sanji basically tells Nami and Usopp, go on ahead without me. I'll keep them at bay as they're being pursued by the Marines. I think...
Yeah, he had the Marines, and Zoro had the random, people in the
millions.
The millions.
Mm-hmm. And so Zoro told Vivi to go on ahead. He would take it from here. And then Luffy also purposefully... he provoked Smoker in order to have Smoker attack him. And then they all meet right outside of, is it called Rain City? Rain Dinners, the big casino that Crocodile owns. And Luffy comes running up to them and is like, guys, we gotta go inside. Go, go, go. And so Smoker's chasing out after them, and that's where the episode ends.
Yep.
And it's the perfect stew of crazy, of chaos, because you have all of these different factions going on, and spoiler alert, the arcs are only going to get bigger from here. Well, not every single one gets big, but the ones that are bigger than each one progressively.
Is the TV big enough? Are we going to be able to watch them?
Yeah, this is too much action for one TV screen to handle. Okay, and those were the 4 episodes.
They kind of blurred together there in the middle.
I mean, they were in the desert for a long time. There was some sand. It was hot. People were sad.
So I think we should go back to the first episode first.
Okay.
While it kind of felt filler-ish, some parts of it were somewhat important. Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling that it's probably they just took an actual thing and then just extended some of the scenes to make it into a full episode, whereas maybe... Because I think normally they take like 3 chapters and make one episode, right? Or something like that. I think
it's a ratio of like 2 to 1, 3 to 1, something like that.
Yeah, I bet you this one, it might have been like a chapter, and they just tried to like, let's make this into one episode sort of thing.
Okay, so which parts of it felt the least filler? Which parts felt essential?
The conversation between Chopper and Zoro.
That's a great one. I'll quote it in a second.
The hidden ancient ruins underground.
With the mysterious box cube with writing on it? Yeah. And then maybe Vivi talking to Nami. Okay. So, according to OnePieceWikia.com, that episode is entirely filler. Which blows my mind because the dome underground that Luffy and Zoro find definitely feels like it could be part of the series. And as we get further into Alabasta, we're going to maybe see something else that resembles that ancient writing. So maybe at that point the manga already had the ancient writing, and so they decided to include it in the filler, but it's very odd. And then this wonderful quote from Zoro, and Catherine, you know this one pretty well as well. Chopper says something about, like, you've been here the longest, and Zoro goes, yeah, I was the first member, everyone else kind of joined pretty quickly after, and Chopper goes, everyone seems to be doing their own thing, what's up with that? And Zoro goes, well, someone once said, there's 2 translations of this, and there's one that I see all the time in YouTube videos, and that's the one I'm currently reading. The wording is slightly different in the English, but someone once said, from the outside, we don't appear to have teamwork. What does teamwork really mean, anyway? Is it about rescuing and protecting each other? There are people who believe that, but to me, that just sounds like children playing around. Everyone should do what they can with their lives on the line, and then they say to the next guy, I did what I could, now it's your turn. If you don't finish it, I'll come and kick your ass. Isn't that how teamwork first comes about? And it's so strange that was filler, because it is one of the most One Piece things to have ever come out of anyone's mouth. When we were doing our badge summaries, I made a joke about how this episode waxes philosophical, because you have Vivi talking about what makes a country, what's the shape of a country. You have Zoro talking about this is what makes teamwork. You have a quote from Nami where she says something about once Luffy's put his mind to something, he will get it done. That's what makes him dependable. You can't depend on him anywhere else. Like he said back in Arlong Park, he can't cook, he can't lie, he can't fight with a sword, he can't navigate, but he can beat up the bad guys. And those are all such great, wonderful moments.
The Zoro quote in particular is one of my favorites. Like you said, it shows up in a lot of YouTube videos and AMVs, so it was one of my early introductions to the series when you were still poking me to get me to watch it. And it's just so in line with what Luffy later says to Vivi about she needs to trust that all of them will put their lives on the line.
Well, and I've said this before on the podcast, and it's going to be something we discuss more and more as we get further into the series and we have more examples to kind of talk about. But there's a reason that Luffy's the protagonist of this series. There's a reason that at the end of the series, he's probably going to be the Pirate King, and I think it's the trust that he has in his teammates and the trust he inspires in people around him, because Buggy's crew wasn't like that. I mean, you could argue that it was, because Buggy kind of trusted Kabaji and Moji to take care of business without him, but there's just something about the way that the Straw Hats split up and each of them fight their absolute darndest, and they're going to win no matter what, because they know that their victory will help everyone else out. So... And Curtis, do you have any other thoughts other than my analysis?
I mean, I do. It does kind of feel fillerish the way the conversation goes overall, like because it's literally just them talking about like, isn't this crew kind of a strange group of people?
Yes.
I did think there was something interesting that Vivi's talking about. What really is a kingdom or a country, because, you know, the leader can die and the people keep going on and the culture continues and it changes. What's really worth trying to save and, you know, etc. But then a couple episodes later, the King Cobra is talking and says, don't you know, a kingdom is its people? And I was like, Oh, see, I mean, he had a simple answer. It's like, you're over here like, it's this, but it's so complicated. And he's like, it's people. It's the people, man.
I love your King Cobra impersonation. Sounds like he could like go a couple of rounds in the boxing ring, you know? Son, I'll knock you out. If you disrespect the king, I'm gonna punch you straight in the face.
That sounds like a wrestler. WWE. I'll see you in the ring.
If there is anyone who can challenge me in the ring tonight, they can become the king of this country. I think that the reason that he was so certain of the answer and Vivi wasn't, I think that this show is very much about coming of age and growing up and internalizing all of your adventures. Koza's older. He's probably in his 40s at least, maybe even a little older. And so he's already learned all of this stuff. Vivi is still a young princess who's growing into adulthood. And so she's starting to consider these different things, but she hasn't quite come to the answer as easily as Koza has.
Oh, you mean King Cobra?
Yes.
I was gonna say, I was like, Koza's the same age as Vivi, or right about. I was like, how did he age so much?
Koza ate the wisdom fruit, actually. It gives him no physical abilities, but, I mean, he's just really smart.
It actually makes you older, and you die faster as a result. It's not the ideal fruit to eat. Absolutely.
All right. So, is there anything else that you want to talk about next from these episodes?
Let me think. The ancient stuff was kind of interesting. I mean, I couldn't figure out if it was like, we're going to talk more about the past of this world, or if it was just like, oh yeah, there are ruins in this world too, right? You were kind of like, so I figured that it was probably like important, but.
Hey, Curtis.
Yeah.
Could you make that sound again?
What?
That was such a spot-on impression of my husband. I'm just stunned.
That's what he sounds like when he gets excited about One Piece stuff. He's like, "Did you see that?"
That's actually the sound that I made. You know, we were at the wedding ceremony. I was looking at my beautiful wife, and they said, "You may kiss the bride," and I leaned in, I kissed her, and then.
Oh, it's even better when you do it.
I don't think that I make that sound, but we can just save that for another.
No, you don't. You don't. That was me trying to make a sound.
Okay.
That exemplified the emotion you were putting into your words at the time.
Okay.
You do this thing with your body where you kind of bounce up and down, but yeah, you don't actually make that sound.
Okay, interesting. There is something very interesting about the Kingdom of Alabasta. The world government in One Piece is comprised of, I don't remember the number. It's something like 200 countries, and Alabasta is just one of them. But among all of those 200, Alabasta is unique for reasons that you won't learn about for a long time. But when they talk about the history, it is very much big picture, end of the story, drastic stuff. Mm-hmm. Luffy's fate was changed by him coming to Alabasta. I'm almost positive. But I can't give you reasons why.
I have a guess.
Okay.
So you remember how when we were watching, we pointed out that Alabasta and Alabarna sound like Alabama?
Okay.
This is in the future. This is future Alabama.
Okay.
Sea levels have risen. It's desertified. And now
is that why there's gators? Because gators down in Alabama, we solved it. We need to write out to be like, hey, Oda, you need to try a little bit harder to hide your details. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I want you to know those noises came from my heart.
All right.
And then the sand pirates.
Yes.
Does Alabama doesn't have the swamp people, does it?
No, that's Florida.
Okay, never mind.
What swamp people? Just people in the swamp?
Yeah, people who live in the swamp. I don't know what they're called.
I thought all of the states were down there were swampish.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't know much about the South, so I'm like trying not to use gross stereotypes for the entire region.
Okay, that's fair.
But
there are swamps in Florida, though, and I do know that there are crocodiles down there thanks to Archer. Or alligators. One of the two.
Are there alligators in Alabama? Oh, wow.
In Florida. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So you were thinking of the swamp biome.
Here's what happened. Here's what happened, okay? Sea levels rise. all of the alligators in Florida had to go somewhere. So they went to Alabama, and then it turned into Alabasta.
You can make a pretty good Disney movie about that, about the alligators realizing that their country is going to be destroyed and they have to migrate to a new home. And it could be an allegory for people coming to a new country. Okay, so I have a list of kind of notes that I was taking throughout these episodes, and I don't think they're in chronological order, but we can discuss them as they come up. If you had to guess, if you just had to come up with any random answer, why do you think Miss Doublefinger is called Miss Doublefinger? When we know that all the other female agents have been named after Miss Golden Week, Miss Merry Christmas, who is Mr. Three's partner? Miss Golden Week, Miss Merry Christmas, Miss Wednesday, Miss All Sunday?
Mm-hmm. I think instead of toes, she has fingers. So she has...
Double
20 fingers.
Okay.
So double the fingers that a normal person has.
All right. Now, the reason that she is called Miss Double Finger, this is peak Oda, is because when he describes the first day of the first month, he holds up his index fingers on both hands, which creates the double finger. She is named after New Year's Day in Oda's brain, because Oda talks about things in a weird way.
So nobody else in Japan calls that day Double Finger Day or anything?
Nope. It's just the way Oda... That's what the wiki said. I don't know if that's... I know he's definitely said in an interview that it definitely comes from the way he describes January 1st.
God.
But I don't think that that's a national thing or anything
Oda!
like that.
Why?
Could you imagine if I became like a mangaka and I had an organization named after holidays and one of them was named Plor's Day because we made that joke a couple of episodes ago? Like, it would just be so esoteric.
And this is the 25th of Thanksgiving here. Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Everything else is real, Oda.
Yeah, the giants,
Yeah.
the fish people,
The banana
the
gators.
long poses.
They're the banana gators.
The banana gators. I don't know why that's such a hard animal name.
Well, no, because they're called banana alligators in the English one.
I guess. I've always remembered them as banana gators.
Yeah, it
but-
really irritated me that they kept saying alligator all the way out, and I was like, no, why don't you make it banana gator or alligana?
No,
I don't remember.
Stop! I don't want your brain freezing as you try to contemplate the best.
Oh, that was the other way I got Alabama.
Oh, how wonderful! So, the banana gators. You have strong opinions about them, Curtis? You want to talk about that for just a second?
I mean, I don't have strong opinions about the animals. It's just an alligator with a banana on its head.
Why though? I want to know.
I don't know. Why not? Why not, Joel?
Okay.
I don't know. It's weird. It's like, so when it comes to fake animal aesthetics,
Mhm.
I feel like Avatar: The Last Airbender had the best ones,
Okay.
where they basically took two real life animals and merged them. Now the naming convention got kind of weird because it's like, what do they have? Like,
Man, I don't remember their names at all.
I'm trying to think of some. It was literally two animals just together, right?
Mhm.
And the only ones I can think of right now don't follow that convention, like the sky bison and that.
Flying bison, hermit crab, red-tailed winged lemur. These are all really dumb names.
Yeah, but like keep going because they've got like
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Let's see, foggies. Badger mole.
yeah. So like a badger mole, right? Let's take that for example. Why would you name it a badger mole? You don't have badgers. You don't have moles. You look at this thing. He says you don't think. Well, this is a combination of two creatures that don't exist in this world. Let's take the names of those creatures that don't exist and put them together and make badger mole. But anyways, regardless.
Also, there's puffin seals, and as a fan of the puffin, I have to see this. I don't remember that from my watch through of the series.
Oh, they're probably at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like I guess my point is that the aesthetics of those animals are interesting, right?
Mhm.
Like it's cool seeing like, you know, that like a puffin and a seal put together and you're like, what does it look like? Oh, that's kind of cool, right? This is literally an alligator with a banana shaped knob on its head. And it's like okay. If you wanna, I don't see why, but okay.
They're also giant. We saw one next to Mr. 3, and it was big enough to... Because a regular alligator or crocodile, I think they get relatively the same size. They could chomp your arm off, sure, but this one could swallow you whole. It wouldn't even have to chew.
Oh, we should talk about how ominous Crocodile was in that scene.
Oh, he was so good with his entrance.
Yeah, well, so for his entrance is actually a little bit ridiculous. So they're all sitting at this table, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't notice that there's a large man, sitting in the chair, but just turned not facing them, sitting at the end of the table. I understand he's not facing them, but you should realize, like, they're angles, right? As you're walking into the in to sit at the table, you would notice him there. You might catch a glimpse of his shoulder or something like that. But no, nobody notices him sitting there. So he just like, and so what's her name?
Miss Double Sunday or All Sunday?
Miss All Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah.
The cowgirl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like, and this is your boss, and he turns around, hello there. I don't remember what he actually says.
Okay, so what if he wasn't there when they came in? They all sat down and they started arguing with each other, bickering because that's how they do. They don't get along. Miss All Sunday starts talking and they all look to her. And while they're distracted, he walks in and sits down. It was all part of an elaborate ruse to set up his...
Batman style. Yeah. Actually, what I want to see him is like Army Man crawl across the floor trying to get to the seat.
He was under the table inside of like a snake or inside of a box like Metal Snake.
He was actually tying their shoelaces together. So now when they all stand up, they fall down.
Right. But no, what you're the part that you were more describing and more thinking about was when Mr. 3 shows up and is like, oh, by the way, you tried to kill me because I failed you. And he goes, what? And he stands up and like stalks over, and the other agents, even Mr. 1 and Miss Doublefinger, who are like these amazing assassins. I don't know if they said that. Sorry, I spoiled it. But like they're freaking out by how intimidating this guy is. Mm-hmm. We also saw him use more of his power, which has already been kind of foreshadowed, but not really explicitly stated. Yeah. But he holds Mr. 3 by the throat and he withers and it's not looking too good.
Yeah. And then he throws him to the Banana Gator.
Yep.
And then later on in the Banana Gator pool, we see Mr. 3's like cloak just floating without Mr. 3, just the cloak.
Yep, it got ripped off in the ensuing chaos.
Yeah.
So he's probably gone, right?
I think he got 8.
Okay, so now we've had 2 official deaths in the main canon of the series. We had Mr. 3 got eaten by an alligator, and Igaram's ship blew up with a nuclear missile.
We're not counting Bellamere? We're not counting past?
In the present tense, yes. It was also implied that Miss Golden Week was eaten by Karoo, because it showed the duck next to her, and then it zoomed out, and you heard her scream, and it was a very terrified scream. But, we haven't seen her again either. Yeah, Karoo's a monster.
Wait, Golden Week was the painter, right?
Yes.
The little girl?
Yes.
Karoo ate her?
I mean, we didn't see what happened, but what do you think happened?
I don't know.
Duck on child violence is a real problem. Oda's trying to...
What the heck, Oda? I say, what the heck?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think we're about done with the Banana Gators. We're done with Crocodile's introduction. Well, I guess his main introduction and his main interaction with other characters, I guess, is more what I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, like, his first actual scene. Like, all the other ones, he's been, like, shrouded in shadows. And like...
evil monologuing.
Yeah.
Sipping his wine. He doesn't actually have wine, but he seems like the sort of man who would have like a goblet with a wine of him at all times.
He also describes what their ultimate goal is.
Uh-huh.
Their ultimate goal is to build a military force so that they can, and then they cut, and then we didn't hear what he said.
Yep. He goes, hey, do you guys want to know what's happening here? And it shows him lighting his first cigar, and then when the camera comes back, there's 4 discarded there, so I'm not a smoker, you're not a smoker, but some amount of time has passed. And yeah, he specifically says, I don't care about the wealth, and I think he said he didn't care about the status. He named 2 things. One was definitely money. He only cares about military might. Mm-hmm. Why do you think, if you were a writer, why would you have a character obsessed with military might?
I mean, the only reason is if you wanted to conquer.
Okay.
But, like, is he going to take? He doesn't seem to care about taking control of Alabasta. Okay, so they actually did mention something about getting something that's in Alabasta, and they're going to steal it and steal the whole kingdom at the same time.
The Declaration of Independence. It's hidden in Alabasta.
Is that where it is now?
Yeah,
Oh
after
my
Nicolas
God.
Cage took it the first 2 times, did he steal it the second one too?
Yeah.
But we're gonna get more about this. There's a reason there's 30 more episodes to this arc before it ends. Is because he's not simply trying to start a war for the heck of it. He's not simply trying to get rid of a king. I think he could have done either of those things already without so much effort, but there's something else going on. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Catherine, would you like to talk about Toto and the water that he gave Luffy? Because you and I are defending that very vehemently. We're saying that was a very noble thing for him to do, and Curtis was just like, oh, it's a cup of water or whatever.
Oh, no, I wasn't downgrading what he did. Him as a character is not super important to the plot.
The water represents his dreams.
Yeah, but lots of people have lots of dreams in this show, and not all of them are important.
They are. They're all important. That's why Luffy... He inspired Luffy.
Say that to Choo Choo, you bastard.
Who's Choo Choo?
Oh my god!
The dog, Curtis.
Oh wait, the dog from the first town?
Well, I don't know the first town.
From the buggy
arc.
town?
Mm-hmm. The one whose owner died and whose pet store was burned down, and Luffy could only save a single bag of food.
Yeah.
The only character in known history to have eaten the good boy, good beagle. The good bagel, delicious bagel Nomi. No, the good boy Nomi. No, the thing about this show is that there's a trope in a lot of anime that we haven't seen in this one yet. It hasn't come to fruition, but Dragon Ball Z started it, Yu Yu Hakusho did it, Naruto did it. Once you beat a bad guy, they're no longer evil. They become a good guy. Slowly but surely, enemies become friends in shonen, and that's kind of one of the things... Shonen battle anime. I recently had it pointed out to me that shonen is actually an age group, not a genre. When I'm talking about it, I mean shows like Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball, the ones where people punch things really hard. But what makes the shonen battle anime protagonist what they are is their ability to get people to kind of like come to their side. And in One Piece, the way that you do that is by seeing someone's dream and supporting it. And so Toto is very important because he represents the people who still believe in King Cobra, who believe in the goodness of the king, who want this country to succeed, who haven't given up yet. And so, I don't know, he gives the water, it's the last bit of water, and it's symbolic, I think, because I think people's hope is running out. They're finding it hard to believe in this future as the sands ravage them and such.
Okay, I guess in that context, he is a minor element to the plot. I'm not going to upgrade him from minor, though.
Okay.
How could he be a minor element when there are no mines in Alabasta?
Because he had to dig for the water.
Ah, shoot. He caught me.
All right, so once again, I love asking this question. Magic Time Machine. All of the anime that exists up to this point already exists. It's already been written. You have the pen, and you have to write what happens next. Can you see that water being important anyway? Can you think of a way that you might be able to use that?
That cup of water?
Yeah.
Does he still have the cup of water?
Yep, it's around his throat, and he wouldn't let Usopp take a drink from it.
Okay, that cup of water is magic water.
Okay. Do you think that Crocodile... Oh, sorry?
Yeah, when it touches Crocodile's skin, it'll dissolve him.
Oh, okay.
One drop will do it.
See, I was thinking maybe he had a vampire in his retinue, the secret negative first member of Broke Works, and Luffy would be like, vampire, splash the water on him, and the vampire would be like, holy water, but the only place that could have come from was Yuba!
How dare you!
Actually shops at Infernal Products Incorporated. That's where he got his vampire from. It's from our ad.
Okay,
last
that's
episode.
so wonderful.
Crocodile listens to our... Oh, that's so nice.
He does in my heart.
Crocodile, as we've already discussed, is pretty popular with people. Actually, Catherine, we were talking about his his introduction and his kind of, when he found out that Mr. 3 had failed to kill the Straw Hats, he got pissed. He got angry and he stalked over and he, like, made him all wither and stuff. I think I now remember why Crocodile is such a big deal. Here's my thing. Let's say, hypothetically, Crocodile is defeated at the end of this arc. Seems likely, given how all the other arcs in the show have gone so far. If they defeat Crocodile here, and then they go to another island, and you need to raise the stakes to make it more exciting, and then maybe they go from that island to the next island, and then maybe the next bad guy is even stronger, it necessarily nerfs Crocodile. If he's one of the 7 warlords of the sea, but he's the first one that gets taken out, it feels like that means he has to be the weakest. So I don't think that Crocodile is incompetent, but some part of me looking back on it is like, oh, Crocodile, you wanted to start a war that's really cute. Such a little baby goal for a baby Shichibukai.
At the same time, I can't give things away because spoilers
Yes.
and whatever, but there's definitely evidence to suggest Crocodile is pretty powerful. I think the fact that Luffy was could beat him, possibly, potentially, comes more down to resourcefulness than strength or weakness.
Are you saying the protagonist of this shonen anime might beat the bad guy?
Maybe. I don't want to give anything away.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. There's all sorts of... The trope of the shonen battle protagonist losing is actually done so often that you can never... Until the main character has suffered a major defeat, you can't assume that he won't. Because he has to... They have to get knocked down a peg at some point, and then it's their ability to stand back up that makes you go, oh yeah, he is really cool.
Yeah, well, he got knocked down a peg when he was a little kid, remember? And he wanted to join the pirates, and they wouldn't let him, and
that's
people
true.
were laughing at him.
Smoker?
No, we're talking about Shanks.
Well, we're talking
And-
about Luffy and Shanks and that the guys laughing at him.
The mountain bandits, Hegram, I think? No! I should know this! I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, sorry. I just listened to an episode where you guys talked about Smoker. He became a Marine because the pirates laughed at him. So I thought maybe you were making a callback.
Oh,
to
no,
Gotcha.
because Luffy also got laughed at, but in a less mean manner.
Yes.
But
Higuma is the man with the 8 million bounty who got eaten by the Sea King.
I don't remember that.
Okay, you know what? Let's not go down the road. When we get to episode 150, we'll do a recap. I'll be like, do you remember this scene? And you'll go, no, I wasn't paying attention. I'll be like, do you remember this scene? You'll be like, not really. And I'll be like, clown pirates? You're like, yes, the highlight of this series, the clown pirates and the man in a box. That's what got me into this show.
Oh, yeah, that man in a box? Oh, yeah. Man in a box.
Okay, surprise quiz. What's his name?
Gaijin.
Gaimon.
So what is
close.
Gaijin?
Gaijin is outsider.
Oh,
It's like a white person.
Yeah, that's right.
I wanted to call him Igaram.
Igaram's
That's
the
not
dead
even-
guy.
I know who Igaram is.
He's the guy who goes,
but
Ma!
that's the only name I could think of.
Okay. There's also Joseph and Mark and Tyler and Dawn.
Joel,
Yeah, that's another name. Good job, baby.
this is
Yay!
a naming podcast.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Podcast is also a name sometimes.
No, not really.
Would you name a child podcast? Would you hold your baby in your arms and go, your name is podcast?
I would
no.
name them Podcast.
Wait, no. Name your child podcast and then have them enter a talent show competition. And they're trying to tell the story, but eventually people boo them because the story's going on too long. And then you go up and you get the mic and you go, hey, listen to my podcast.
So-
that is the longest walk for a very short drink of water.
He wasn't joking when he said that was going to be his thing now. He's been doing it off mic constantly as well.
It's true. Also, consider that was a long dig for a short cup of water.
Hey, there you go.
Loving it.
You look like you were going to say something.
I realized that it would have been such a far tangent that it's not worthy.
Okay, we're coming back to...
Yes.
Crocodile.
Which of you... What?
was what we were talking
I mean, we were talking about Crocodile. Does anyone else have anything else to say about Crocodile?
He's beautiful and I love him. That's about it.
Okay, Curtis, actually, and I didn't give you any time to prepare, so I'm probably going to edit out the long pauses you consider this. Crocodile disposed of Mr. 3 pretty quickly. Do you see Luffy struggling in this fight? Do you see a way that Luffy might have to... Should we be worried for Luffy's safety at this point?
No.
Okay. Because?
I don't see an obvious weakness.
Okay, so you don't see an obvious weakness for Luffy.
Yes.
Okay.
Facing Mr. Sandman.
All right, let me ask you this question. What have I famously said is Luffy's what can't affect Luffy?
Hatred.
He's a pure bud of goodness. Someone comes up to him and is like, "Hey, I hate you." Luffy just gives them a hug and cures them with the power of friendship.
Oh no, we got Luffy mixed up with Jaden Yugi again.
Stabby things hurt him.
Stabby things hurt him. And haven't we seen a certain stabby thing that Crocodile might have easy access to?
He's got a little hook. Okay.
A little hook? It's the size of his freaking head!
Big ol' hook.
Okay, a big hook. I think
That's so that he can get you to listen to his stories. He uses the big hook and he draws
Take
you in.
a big ol' look as big ol' hook.
And then eventually, as the blood drains out and you're too weak to get away, you just have to listen to the rest of it.
Exactly.
That was actually a little more disturbing than I meant it to be.
I'll give you shelter from the sandstorm if you listen to my tale. I'm sorry.
I guess. So then here's what happens. All right, Usopp puts glue on on the point of the hook, and then it's all okay.
Okay, I gotcha.
And then the attack bounces off of Luffy and sticks to Crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the rubber and the glue. The classic scenario.
Now, see, here's my thing. We know that Vivi is the one orchestrating this whole affair. She wants to punch Crocodile for her country or whatever. This is really her fight. Like, do we think Luffy will be involved in it at all?
Oh, no, you're right. I think you actually know. You have a good point. I could definitely, based off of past scenes, if Vivi really wanted to fight Crocodile, I could see Luffy be like, okay, we're all going to stand back and watch you fight him.
Yep. I will say Vivi is also probably weak to stabbing things.
I think that's a common weakness among many of the characters in the One Piece. You know who might not be weak to stabbing things?
Zoro.
You think he's immune to swords at this point?
He carries them so much he's inoculated himself.
He's been stabbed.
No, I'm just messing around. Who?
Curtis, can you think of anyone who is in this arc who doesn't belong, who might not take physical damage?
Oh.
Tashigi.
I was going to say Karoo.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
Smoker.
I was going to ask you about that, and that seems like a great segue. Do you foresee a role for Smoker to play in this not series, but in this arc?
I see his role to be not stabbed.
Okay.
Intend to not be stabbed in a very effective manner. I think what's gonna happen. Okay. This solves multiple problems. So we were talking about earlier how it would be too bad, if Crocodile, being one of the 7 warlords, was defeated already by one of the by like Luffy and the crew, because then it makes him seem weaker. They don't defeat him.
Oh.
Smoker does. Smoker is here for either the Straw Hats or Crocodile. He doesn't like either of them. He can't really take Crocodile in if he's not doing anything illegal. Crocodile's clearly doing something that he's not supposed to be doing. And I think between the two, Smoker would much rather take down one of the 7 warlords for being corrupt than take in the Straw Hat. If you could get them both, great. Mm-hmm. But if not, he let the Straw Hats get to the Grand Line anyways. He'll kid them later. I bet you what happens is they'll probably start fighting him. Maybe they will struggle, and then like hijinks will ensue, and Smoker will be the one that ends up finishing off Crocodile.
Okay, I like it. That is a fantastic theory. Now, we here on this podcast, we talk about One Piece constantly because it's honestly the greatest thing ever, in my opinion. Curtis, you haven't been converted completely yet, but you'll get there. Just give it another 700 episodes.
I still gotta, I still attend my local satanic church, but eventually you'll get me over to One Piece.
All right. But something else that we also kind of do in our spare time is we try to live good lives, People are told all the time, or they hear that they have to drink a certain amount of water every day. You should floss. You should exercise 30 minutes every day. You should spend some time doing stuff that you love. You should form strong connections. And that's a wonderful way to spend your life. Except there's not really enough time if you think about it. So that's why we have been approached by Silverian Products. They are a cutting-edge, brand-new company. You probably haven't heard of them, but they're going to make a big scene in the world, and they're coming with their latest, their only product right now, the Silverian Pills. Be you, but better. See, now the thing is we all want to live happy, productive lives. We want to focus. We want to feel healthy. We want to feel fit. We want to feel energized.
We want to pet cats.
We want to pet cats. We want to make money. We want to do all of these things. We want to find spiritual fulfillment. Doing that the long way, doing that the hard way, that sucks.
It sucks.
Right.
Why would I want to do that?
Yeah, why would anyone want to do that? And, some people say that it's the journey that makes the destination, all the better.
You know what, Joel?
Yeah,
those people are stupid.
Those people are clearly not taking Silverian pills, which, one pill a day, it just makes you, but better. They gave me a free sample. It only has half of the Silverian content, so it doesn't affect me quite as much as it would if I were to pay into their monthly subscription and take the product on the full dose. Mm-hmm. But, I am able to emit small little sparks of electricity from my finger, whenever I want. I'm just me, but better. I used to sing in the shower and I used to be like, oh man, I'm such a silly guy. Good thing I'm not being recorded right now. But now when I sing all the time, it sounds so beautiful. Catherine has asked me not to sing on mic because it's so beautiful that she doesn't want our fans to try to come at me and take me away from her. So it's officially banned. Only she can hear my beautiful singing voice on the Silverian product.
Oh, my love.
Now, Curtis, you've been taking the Silverian product for a couple of days now. In what ways would you say that you're you, but better?
Well, at first I thought it was it was kind of like I drank a little bit too much coffee. It was kind of jittery.
Uh-huh. That's a lot of likes.
Yeah, it was a lot of likes. I get a lot of likes now.
On Facebook, yeah, you post your statuses and...
But then one day, I went to unlock my front door, and my hand just went straight through the door, and it was actually kind of convenient because I could just unlock it from the inside,
sure,
and then pull back through, and it's just it vibrates so fast. It's it's nifty.
It's absolutely wonderful. And Catherine, please tell us the wonderful ways that has helped you be you, but better.
Well, yesterday I went to work like I always do, and I had my coffee and I sat down at the desk to get some business done, and I grew a tail and just started biting people.
That's incredible.
Wow. Problems for me.
That's really interesting. Yeah, and I can see that would really help in social situations. There are some people out there who they want to be more social and they want to get to know their work buddies, on a deeper level, because sometimes those personal connections, they help you they help you have upward mobility. They help you get some recommendations to those higher paying positions. And now with your tail and your incessant biting, you're just a guaranteed shoo-in for that position.
Well, I've gotten so much closer to all of my coworkers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love it.
I had to sit in HR with 3 of them for several hours.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that really does sound like you.
That's a great bonding experience.
Of course.
You know what else, Joel?
What's that?
On top of all of this, I've been a lot more regular. It's been great.
Yeah. It's helped you poop. That's great. That's wonderful. I'm just going to take some more Silverian here and, get me pumped up. I'm going to go do 50,000 push-ups, probably as a warm-up.
Please do not take Silverian if you are pregnant, planning to become pregnant, or Spanish.
Or if you have 2 eyebrows. All right.
Or no eyebrows. Or 1 eyebrow.
Only 3 eyebrowed people may invest in this product. How can you find Silverian, you might ask? Oh, we'll get in touch with you. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about Vivi versus Luffy, a very top 10 anime betrayals. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. I mean, what the heck? What the heck? You punched. Not only did you punch the princess you were with. That's a no-no. You punched someone who was way under your weight class.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, not literally under his weight class, but like you.
I was gonna say, do they weigh
The
different amounts?
figurative weight class.
Like,
I know what not literally means.
like just.
Anyway, I really appreciated that fight. I like that Luffy made Vivi get wound up before he went, okay, good, we're on board. We'll help you.
I do want to make a really quick note for those who are not watching these episodes along at home. It's not a real fight. Luffy wasn't really trying to hurt her, but he basically sat down, said, you know what, I'm bored, I don't want to do this anymore. And Vivi was like, quit joking around. And he goes, people are gonna die, Vivi, what are you gonna do about it, weak little princess? And she decked him, and then he punched her back, and then she started like slapping him, and she started shouting about some stuff.
They ended up on the ground. Joel made a joke about them making out.
Vivi's only love, not Karoo, don't you dare. Wow, I forgot. Nami.
Yeah, Vivi and Nami is the only ship that I support in this show.
my favorite.
And the Going Merry.
Why are you...
Yay! Good one, Joel.
All right, Curtis.
My favorite part in the whole fight is so Vivi, has Luffy pinned down, and she's punching him in the face with one hand and slapping him the other way with the other one. And she keeps doing this over and over, and they have a conversation. Luffy is talking to her, and he doesn't pause when he gets hit or anything. He just keeps talking like she's not hitting him, and she keeps talking to him like she's not hitting him. And it's like, what's going on?
To be fair, she is pretty weak, and he is made of rubber, so I doubt he even felt it.
Well,
The first punch, he actually struggled to stand up after it, if you remember.
I did. I remember watching that and going, what?
Yeah, it's interesting that the first punch seemed to hurt, but then the next one kind of didn't. But at that point, she'd already started to break down, so maybe she wasn't as focused. I could see that being an explanation.
yeah.
But yeah, so Curtis, as a newcomer to the series, you haven't seen as many character interactions or whatever. You haven't seen Luffy cause someone to punch him because they're so angry at him. A crewmate, I mean.
Yeah.
How'd you like that scene?
I get what they were going for, and it's not something that Luffy hasn't done before. He often tries to. So we talk about how he's a good emotional manipulator. In this case, I guess I wouldn't call it manipulation, just because of the connotation of the word. But like he's good at helping somebody realize something.
He's empathic, and he. What's it called? What's it called when you have a different way of thinking of things as people? Like, there's people who think in, like, numbers, and there's people who think in emotions. Do you remember what those are called?
No, I'm not. I don't know which word you're looking for. I'm sorry.
But
Yeah, he has a different... His thinking ability is not good at solving certain types of problems, but it's better at solving other types of problems.
Yeah.
And people kind of denying themselves or not committing fully is sort of his specialty.
Well, and he knows how to motivate them, right? And he knows what will get them motivated and how to get them where they need to be. And he's done this in the past where he will purposefully fire someone up just to help them realize they can handle some of their own problems. That being said, I feel like this one just kind of struck me as weird. I think mostly because they've treated Vivi largely as a passenger who isn't necessarily like fighting fit, right? Like she's fought before, but for the most part they've treated her as someone that needs to be protected. So in my mind, I was like, okay, so she's not like a fighter. And for him to like come out, him being one of the stronger crew members to come out and just like punch her was like, okay, I guess we're doing that now. It initially rubbed me the wrong way. I get what they were going for. I feel like it could have been handled slightly differently, but
Yeah, I would say, and again, we've talked about this, how maybe it's not appropriate for you and I, Curtis and Joel, to talk about certain perspective certain things that happen, but we haven't seen Luffy punch sense into Sanji. We haven't seen him fight Zoro. I mean, okay, they actually did have a fight on Whiskey Peak.
Well, yeah, no,
but that wasn't the same thing. That wasn't him trying to convince Zoro to think a different way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think he would refrain from doing this to another crew member. I don't think it's the issue. I think it's more like I don't know. It took me off guard.
Yeah.
So
I think Luffy does whatever is most likely to knock sense into people. Like for Nami at Arlong Park, he put his hat on her head and he was like, of course I'm going to help you. And he stalked off to Arlong Park because different people need different things to come to the realization that friendship is important. So Vivi needed to be punched, I guess.
I think she needed to just kind of get so riled up that she finally broke down the barrier. I've seen this scene several times in context, out of context, in YouTube videos, and this was the first time where I think it really clicked, where I went, oh, he's trying to overwhelm her to the point where she realizes that she is overwhelmed, and she finally says, I need your help, rather than... It's still a little weird.
Okay, this is going to be a reference. You know V for Vendetta?
I know of it.
Have you seen it recently?
I haven't ever seen it.
Oh. Well, this is going to be an analogy that doesn't help you at all.
Maybe you shouldn't make it then.
Yeah, I'm going to skip it then.
All right. Watching V for Vendetta on the requirements list for next episode. We can circle back.
But yeah, like the point being, like, he has to... It feels very like I need to break you down emotionally so that you can get built back up appropriately in all of like 2 minutes. I don't know.
Sorry.
I feel like he could have done it without hitting her, right?
Yeah. Like, I guess that's what I was trying to say. I'm not saying that we've never seen Luffy do that to a crew member. I'm saying that we've never seen Luffy try to give a male character that kind of treatment in order to snap them out of them. But at the same time, men and women do tend to have different ways of looking at things. The men in the One Piece universe are very... I'm going to punch things really hard, so more than likely they would need to be calmed down, whereas the women are usually the more reserved, so maybe they need to be riled up. It could have been handled differently. I think we're all on the same page on that, but it is interesting that Luffy took the time to kind of get Vivi's head out of her butt, if that in fact was what was happening.
Yeah, I also don't see the need. Right? Like, well, I guess he redirected her towards Crocodile. He made her realize what the real problem was. Mm-hmm. I still feel like you could do that with words. I mean, Luffy probably couldn't do that with words. Maybe that's the issue. Is I don't know.
I think the problem is getting the rebels to stop fighting, to not want to fight, getting the soldiers to not want to fight would create peace for a little bit of time. But if there's someone who's manipulating the people into wanting to attack each other, until you get rid of that, it's sort of like treating the wound, not the infection type of a thing. It's still going to fester. And so Luffy's saying, look, we just got to punch the leader in the head. And it just so happens to be that that's what he's good at doing. But, okay. So I think that about wraps up all the kind of the official notes that we normally talk about. One quick note to our listeners. Next week's episode will not be covering more episodes of the anime. We have officially reached the third movie, Chopper's Kingdom on the Island of Strange Animals, as well as a short that came on the DVD with the movie, Dream Soccer King. As always, I have not seen these, and so I don't know anything about them.
I like how it just drops right in the middle of the Alabasta arc, time-wise, like in terms of when it came out.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I think what happened is they were probably planning the movie for like a year in advance or however long it took them to produce it, and that just happens to be when it came out.
Yeah, okay.
These didn't air on TV. These were, I believe, specials that aired out of continuity. But chronologically, yeah, they came out right around that same time. So... Okay, Catherine, Curtis, any final thoughts?
we get to have final thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joel is in charge of final thoughts, we've discovered.
So, Cindy, Mindy, and Samara, those are the first 3 thoughts. And as we know, the thought force is only 4 strong. There's only 4 members. Until you get to season 3 and you introduce the diamond thoughts, clearly.
Obviously. When do we get to see the platinum thoughts?
No, those don't exist, unfortunately. That's a spin-off manga. I tried to... Yeah, so the author who wrote the original thoughts had this great idea for this other force of thoughts, the platinum thoughts, but they're on such a strict deadline, such a strict timeline, they had to give another author the reins of that particular story. And so eventually they're going to converge, but for now they're 2 separate universes. Man. So anyways, we've gotten rid of the other 3 thoughts and we're on to the final thought.
My final thoughts are that Crocodile is cool and I love him. That's really... I wish that we could see more Crocodile. At the same time, I think that part of his mystery and intrigue and badassness is that we don't see very much of him. I just want to get to the part where they fight. No joke, the fight from this arc is my favorite fight in the entire series.
I just, maybe less filler. That's my final thought.
I mean, we saw 4 episodes a day, and only 1 of them was filler.
It's better than last time.
It switched. Last time it was only 1 episode was non-filler. This time it was only... So it looks like we're out of the clear, because they usually don't do filler, non-filler, filler, non-filler. They usually try to put them in chunks, and right now, of the last 8 episodes, we've had 3 consecutive non-filler. So... All right. My final thought is we've finally gotten Sanji calling himself by an alias that he might or might not use later in the series. He called himself Vivi's Prince. Which, look out for that. Maybe it comes back, maybe it doesn't. That has been your doot final thought.
Outro goes here!
In this episode, I give Luffy the guess I'll have to punch my way out of this badge for the 102nd consecutive time. So ends the next leg of the King of the What Now adventure. We're sad to see you go, but we'll be here next week. If you crave some social interaction with us in the meantime, you can find us on all sorts of different media. We have Gmail, Patreon, and Tumblr. All of those are King of the What Pod. King of the What Pod at gmail.com, patreon.com/King of the What Pod. kingofthewhatpod.tumblr.com. Our Twitter handlers are a little bit different. You can reach me at KOTWN_pod.
And you can contact me, Curtis, at Pirate Co-host. Also, please take a moment to rate and review our podcast on whatever platform you're using to listen. Not only will this help others find the podcast, but your constructive feedback will help us improve the show as we go.
Thanks so much for giving us a listen. Until next time, follow your dreams and protect your treasure.
Remember, it doesn't need to be literal treasure.